Mr. Shivkumar, the CEO of ICT Academy, Mr. Suresh, the Andhra Pradesh in charge of ICT Academy, distinguished representatives of ICT Academy, and academicians from various institutions of Andhra Pradesh. Very good morning and a warm welcome to Bridge 2019 Vijayawada edition. Vanakkam to ICT Academy staff who are here who made these arrangements. Very glad to be here amidst you this morning. I'm very happy that thinking is going in the right direction. And the entire India is talking about skilling the youth. Now, if you look at it, I'm in this teaching profession for the last 30 years. Till 1995, it was altogether a different ballgame, different story as such in the educational institutions. The size of higher education was very, very small those days, and you will be surprised we had only 27 engineering colleges in the entire Andhra Pradesh, Telangana together. I'm talking about 1996. Just 27 engineering colleges. And the degree colleges weren't so many. And the teaching learning process that was happening in institutions was, very, very confined. A teacher delivers the content in the classroom. Student learns the content and reproduces in the examination. The soft skills, the personality skills, the programming skills, they were never talked about. All in a sudden, we got this IT revolution, courtesy Y2K problem. The world started worrying about, a possible solution and, people, skilled manpower, skilled youth who can handle this technology problem. Then India rose up to the occasion. In fact, I should consider that as a revolution. Since 1996, millions of jobs have been created by this IT and allied service sector. And we are very happy the youth could find an avenue to get into a job, to get into a respect, to make his career profession. And over the last 2 decades or a little more than that, I should say it's almost 3 decades now. The total scenario got changed. And when people never talked about, 1996, I should tell you, hardly one computer per engineering college or 2 computers per engineering college. Many of the students rolled out from engineering colleges without even seeing a computer those days. But still, when the situation demanded, when the need arose, students got up and industry supported the educational institutions because it was the need of the industry. Industry supported the educational institutions. Many training centers have come in, and students also expressed their willingness to participate in the revolution. And by virtue of this, we could see the size of economy that India has created and the growth we have received. Since 2001, there were occasions where IT and allied service sector grown 20% year on year for a brief period. And since 2001, you will be surprised, we have recorded the best growth rates, almost 9% year on year in the IT allied sectors. Now, India has taken the opportunity, took the lead. The Indian graduates have made a clear mark all over the world, and world is now ready to accept Indian youth by virtue of these people who have gone to every part of India, world, and contributed, won the laurels for this country. Now, when this is the scenario, I should tell you what is happening in the educational institutions, at least in the last 1.5 decades or so. The total, institution objective has become, produce IT graduates from engineering colleges or from any educational institution for that matter. And now, the worst thing that has happened in the process is, irrespective of the branch, cutting across the branches, we started training the graduates to become IT engineers. Now, mechanical engineer never pursued mechanical engineering very seriously. And what industry wanted, bit of soft skills and then the programming skills. which a student could very comfortably acquire with 6 months of practice or 1 year of practice, and fine, he could land in a job as long as he was finding a job. The family was happy, the student was happy, and the society was happy. India on the whole was happy. Now, slowly cutting across the branches, when we started training everyone towards the IT sector, the core sector suffered. Now, the domain skills vanished very quickly from the scope of teaching learning process. Now, students stopped inquiring about the information. Now, when I joined an engineering college, very humble 1992, I was not a brilliant boy, I was just an average boy. I was just going through the books, learning something, and then teaching the class. When I could expand my knowledge, it's all because of the students, because they were very inquisitive, and they were probing, and they were trying to learn. They were reading ahead of me, and they were posing so many difficult questions in the classroom. To avoid embarrassment, I started learning more. That's how I have grown. I still remember. That's how I have grown. Now, no curiosity, no inquiry. All these branches, all these, different disciplines of engineering, they all started behaving as if, it's a computer science engineering discipline. Now, when I teach seriously thermodynamics, my student would come and ask me, why should I learn thermodynamics, sir? Anyhow, I would be landing in CTS or TCS. Fine. Let me know how can I pass this. That's it. That was the purpose. Why I am revealing all this is because, it was IT sector which supported this country, which has seen this economic growth. The GDP is courtesy this IT and allied sectors. No denying a fact, thanks to IT, but at the same time, it is not the only sector. Now, there are 24 key sectors which are contributing to the economy of this country. Now, when we are rolling out the students, we should be very clear that we should be supplying the skilled manpower to all these 24 sectors. Now, it cannot be one sector. And in the process, when everyone was so complacent, parallelly, one another difficulty that one another problem that has crept into the system is exponential growth of educational institutions. Now everyone wanted to take the earliest bus to IT company, and everyone started joining these professional colleges. Professional colleges mushroom from 27 in 1996 to 736, just the year before the erstwhile Andhra Pradesh was divided. Such a huge volume. In what time? In just 15 years. And when we have grown exponentially, there was a gross compromise on the quality of teaching learning process. Now, people talk about curriculum design. Now, I was a director academic and planning of a technological university. I know how difficult it is to design a curriculum. Now, industry wanted all these advanced technologies to be incorporated in the curriculum. Quite obvious. They want it because they don't want a gap between the academy and industry. They wanted advanced technologies, advanced topics to be included in the curriculum. Now, it is not a difficult job even for me as a planner of curriculum to include all those into the curriculum, because the only thing I should be doing is invite right people into the board of studies, and then they can chalk out the program for me. The greatest difficulty is delivering the content in the classroom. With so many constituent colleges of the universities and affiliated colleges, self-financed engineering colleges, in various nooks and corners, delivering the content is a key issue, because we don't have trained faculty. We don't have really trained faculty. Now, what is happening? Let me tell you. Slowly, we started producing graduates of identical quality. Identical skill or no skill for that matter. Now, we are rolling out, Andhra Pradesh, at least, every year we are rolling out around 1 lakh engineering graduates into the society. And in addition, there are about close to 1.5 lakh, conventional degree students we are rolling out. All of them are of identical skill, identical quality. Now, this is not what is required in the present day scenario. Present day scenario, with the automation coming up, one particular skill may not be sufficient for the graduate to gain entry into a profession. Even if he makes an entry into the profession, to sustain in the profession, probably it may not be enough. He should be multi-talented. You should be possessing multiple skills. Now, because the ordinary mundane jobs are being done through automation. Automation is eliminating low level, low skill jobs straight away. The routine verification, testing kind of all these jobs have been eliminated by automation or will be eliminated by automation. Now you should gear up the student to take up the challenge down the line. Now, are we doing it is a big issue. Now, let me also talk about the world scenario. Now, India has 54% or close to that. I stand corrected. I am not really sure about the percentages. I did not go through. Between the age group of 15 and 29. And every year, about 12 million youngsters are about to join the workforce of this country. This is a huge human capital. The demographic dividends are quite in favor of us, and we are all set to improve the economy of this country if we can properly make use of this. Now, parallelly, when this is the youth population of this country, India is being lauded as an young country now by virtue of the young youth population. Now, elsewhere in the developed nations, when we have 12 million, youth getting added into a workforce, 4% decline in the developed nations. They are going older now. Most of the developed nations, they have low double-digit youth population. Quite naturally, they are all deploying latest technologies. Technology is growing at a dynamic pace. To handle all this, probably they need youth who are skilled and trained. And I was going through a survey. It said about 70 million jobs are to be handled by Indian youth in the next 7 years all over the world. I also went through Indian government report which said 1 or 2 million skilled manpower is required for the country by 2022. Not too far. 2022. Are we training them, or are we imparting them the skill required is a big question that we all needed to ask. IT on one side, now we are talking about manufacturing growing. India has to make a step forward in the manufacturing sector. The Make in India initiative of the central government, fine, is paying its dividends. Now, a manufacturing sector is all set to grow. Now, when the power sector already is has taken a big leap, and ensuring power to all by the mission of Indian government is almost getting realized. So that means huge capacity of power generation to be added to the existing power generation capacity. Fine. It's not one sector. Every sector needs skilled manpower. But the only thing is, educational institutions have become very routine. Now, the biggest challenge here for any government, be it central government or the state government, is to train this huge, youth population, skill them, equip them with skill, and render them useful to the industry. Because the growth of the industry straight away linked to this. The other day I was speaking to the nuclear fuel complex CEO. Said he asked me a straight question, Professor Reddy, what is happening in educational institutions, particularly engineering colleges? Earlier we used to recruit a mechanical graduate and train him for a month, and he was ready to take up a job. Now, after recruitment, even after 6 months of training, we are not very confident that he can handle the job. Now, what is happening? Meaning the orientation is not properly set. I'm not doubting the capacity of the youngster who is at present in the roles of the educational institution. He is capable of acquiring, but only thing is the orientation and the priority that we are putting before him is a big question. We needed to seriously think about it. I know there are many representatives from educational institutions here. You all have to rethink about it. Now we need to revisit the fundamentals. Now, with so much of opportunities waiting, if we are not going to react properly at this point of time, now the kind of a reaction I am expecting is that the country on the whole exhibited during 1996 handling the Y2K problem. That was the revolution. And this country needs another big revolution of skilling the people. And what is coming in our way, if we don't participate in this revolution, if we don't realize that the importance of this revolution, probably we are missing a bus destined towards, developed nation status. Definitely, can we risk it at this point of time is a serious question that we all needed to ask ourselves. We need to be very alert right at this point of time. See, educational institutions shall take it up very serious, and also government shall supplement and support the educational institutions the way it should. Now, I'm very happy Tamil Nadu government took a big step forward, creating ICT Academy on no profit, no loss basis. And Mr. Shivkumar as a CEO is doing a real good job. Probably they are spreading it everywhere into all corners of this country. Let me also talk about the Andhra Pradesh initiatives. The Andhra Pradesh government has started a skill development center. It is working very, very seriously, particularly after Sri Jagannath Reddy garu assumed office as a chief minister of this country. He is of the state. I'm sorry. He is very clear in his vision. He wanted to establish skill development centers in every parliamentary constituency. There are about 25 parliamentary constituencies, and skill development centers in a big way, in a real way, mapping the requirements of the industry. These skill development centers with almost an outlay of 50 crores initially to each skill development center. These skill development centers are going to come now. And this is not enough. The stigma, inspiring the student towards skilling. Now, for some reason, vocational education lost its charm in this society. Now, when someone is talking about vocational education, people think that it is a third-rate or substandard people should pursue this kind of, training programs. Now, we need to overcome the stigma, and we also need to inspire the student. Now, when IT jobs started coming very serious, sir, I'll take another 5 minutes. When IT jobs coming quite easy to the students, complacency crept in. Now, hard work is almost a rarest quality of a student. The commitment of a student is quite rare today. Now, when I compare, I've seen both sides of the story, both situations. Prior to Y2K, IT revolution, student was very, very upright and serious, very concerned about his knowledge acquisition. Now, it's all a very casual approach. Student is taking everything for granted. Now, I was talking to my friend who's working in Sri City with Mr. Bishop. He said, somewhere the attrition of the Andhra students is quite high as compared to Tamil Nadu guys. Because there are many opportunities, after a diploma, boy gets into engineering, after engineering he gets into post-graduation. The opportunities are quite plenty, and for the sake of the guests from outside the state, let me tell you, government as a responsibility is paying the tuition fee of all the students in Andhra Pradesh. Now, student is not incurring even a single rupee of expenditure. What is this costing to the exchequer of the state? Close to 5,000 to 6,000 crores every year. Would you believe? And with so much of public money being spent on this, the purpose shall be achieved. Complacency cannot cover the whole money that is being flown into the system. This is where educational institutions, be it private or government, should take it as a responsibility, because it is public funding. Government has a concern for the boy, but at the same time, the discipline, hard work and sincerity need to be brought back into the educational institutions very seriously. Failing which, the acquiring skill is not going to be an easy job. He should apply his mind, body and soul, you should be dedicated towards a purpose. Now, without that, probably he cannot be acquiring the skill required. So, unless we bring back the discipline, maybe there's a last point I just wanted to tell you. Unless we do it, it's not going to be possible. Now, government of Andhra Pradesh, under the chairmanship of Honorable IT Minister, has established a task force very recently. Now, all the skill importing agencies, higher educational institutions are all brought into the scope of the task force. Now, we are going to evolve a document very seriously to be implemented within 6 months from now on. Andhra Pradesh government has realized very quickly that if we cannot skill the youth of this state right at this point of time, many of you must be aware this is a young state, with all the disadvantages we know. We were bifurcated and rendered, as a state without much of a financial support. But still, we need to build the state. Government has very quickly realized that building a strong state in Andhra Pradesh, like Andhra has created a mark for itself during the IT revolution. The next generation or the next generation requirement is skilling. Now, government of Andhra Pradesh has taken it very, very serious. Maybe Mr. Shivkumar, you find plenty of opportunity here, plenty of scope here, to interact with the educational institutions. Government is very, very clear. At the top of its agenda, it has placed a skill. Now, skill, higher education, both will go parallel in the state of Andhra Pradesh from now on. I'll be very happy to know about the deliberations of this Bridge 2019, the whole day that you are going to deliberate, and maybe any kind of input from your side that helps us in bringing out our policy document through the IT task force. I'll be very happy if all of you take my message back to the institutions, bring in seriousness in the teaching learning process, and equip the students with the skill. Now, it's please remember, it is not one skill that is going to help the student. Student should be a multifaceted personality. He should acquire more than one skill to get into, to establish himself in the career. So, thank you very much. Hope I have covered almost all the points they wanted me to cover. Wish you a comfortable stay in Vijayawada, all the delegates. Have great deliberations today. Thank you very much.